The top defensive line recruit on UF's board is going to make his decision for which school he's going to be spending the next 3 to 4 years at on Saturday. LJ McCray is a huge need for the Florida Gators. And he's also a kid that UF has put in a ton of effort on this 2024 recruiting cycle. There's a little bit of a false narrative about this recruitment out there, at least according to a couple people that I have spoken with. And we'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk for a second, though, about LJ McCray, the player. He is a 5-star defensive lineman in the 2024 class. He hails from Mainland High School in Daytona Beach. Guys, this is in UF's backyard. There is not a player in this race that is closer to Daytona Beach than the Florida Gators. McCray is 6'6", 275 pounds. Currently, he is a top 10 player in the country, according to both On3 industry rankings and 247 rankings as well. According to On3, he is the number 8 player in the country. And according to 247, he's number 6. Like I said a minute ago, he is a 5-star on both sites. This pickup would be absolutely huge for the Gators. Literally massive. Guys, he's huge. Let's talk about him as an athlete a little bit. First thing that jumps off the page, obviously, is his size. 6'6", 275 pounds is nuts. The kid has a huge frame. But then you factor in his strength. Okay, I know with a frame like that, we expect that he's going to be strong, right? But he is an absolute monster. And insane wingspan, 6'9". He also moves really, really well for his size. He's been clocked running under 5-second 40-yard dash. Okay, guys, 6'6" defensive lineman. That is booking it for his size. He has played all over the line in high school, D-end, D-tackle, all over the place. And that's because not only is he huge, but he's also really, really quick, which makes him incredibly versatile. Great first step, does a great job getting around offensive linemen, but because he is so physically strong and powerful, when he goes up head-to-head against linemen, he dominates them. Listen, we've talked to people about his style of play, and you want to know the words that we keep hearing over and over again? Violent and aggressive. I don't know about you, but those are exactly how I want my defensive linemen described at the University of Florida. So where are we in this recruitment? Just before we get to that, I want to remind you, you need to be subscribed to this channel. Hit the subscribe button right this second. So the last couple of days, there has been a ton of smoke out there that UF has maybe faded a little bit into the background of McCray's recruitment, and that Florida State and Georgia are really the teams to beat. However, I don't know that I agree with that. Based on the folks that I'm chatting with, I don't believe that Florida feels like they're out of this at all. I honestly think that the confidence that UF has is that they're right there in the mix for LJ. They have a great pitch. They have a great relationship. They've poured a lot into this recruitment. And listen, we are 4 days away, and I am not sitting here guaranteeing you that UF lands McCray. But there is absolutely zero chance that they are out of his recruitment or that they have faded from him at all, okay? They are still very much in this conversation. Let's talk about his main recruiter, Mike Peterson. UF's defense has been a staple for a very long time. I know that it has fallen off the last couple of years, but now that Austin Armstrong is at the helm, I really do feel like it's headed in the right direction. Mike Peterson is a hell of a recruiter. They have landed some top guys on defense. Think about Xavier Filsaime, Miles Graham, some of the names that they're bringing in this 2024 class. Why would McCray not want to join that? And if they land him, he is going to be a stud on this defensive line. They will have created a really solid group of defenders coming in for the 2024 class. And if they they win this, if they come out on top for McCray, they will have beaten Florida State, Georgia, and Miami in this recruiting battle. That is huge. We have a huge matchup with Georgia next week. But if UF could win this, it shows that Napier has the ability to go head to head against the two-time reigning national champs and come out on top recruiting wise. We've talked about this on this channel a lot. First step with the new coach is being in the conversation for the top athletes. That is where UF and Napier were last recruiting cycle. Now they need to win those head-to-head battles. We see what Florida State's doing on the field. We see what Georgia's doing on the field. I mean, Miami, they're taking knees. I'm not that concerned about them. But you see the winning that is happening on the field. We're going head to head against programs that are performing better this season on the field, and we are still very much alive in the conversation. That bodes really, really well for Billy Napier. So now what we need to see is this next step. Can our hat get chosen? Can UF win against Georgia, against Florida State, against some of the top programs at the moment? And, we're going to see on Saturday. But like I said, from everything that I'm hearing from my Florida sources, they like how this recruiting is going. They feel like they are still very much in the conversation with McCray. Okay, it's 2023. So we don't need to beat around the bush about all the factors that go into recruitment. We know that NIL plays a role in the recruitment of all of the top kids in college football, but particularly a top 10 in the nation player. So obviously that is a factor in McCray's recruitment. But do you know what is so much more of a factor in the recruitment of these guys? The relationships. And UF has built a really strong relationship all the way across the board, from the coaches, the support staff, the people that do help with NIL. All of those people have built relationships with LJ McCray, and that is going to matter at the end of the day. If you're talking about, Miami coming in at the end with a giant bag, or you're talking about a Florida or a Florida State or a Georgia who have cultivated these relationships over the last, 2 years, I have got to think that those actual genuine relationships are going to matter more at the end of the day. But if NIL is a factor, I am particularly comfortable in the way that UF and Florida Victorious handles things, the way that they have learned on the fly about NIL, which all schools have had to do in this day and age. It's the Wild West out there. The rules have changed. There are no rules, essentially, a lot of the time. And it was an on-the-job training for a little bit, but I do think that Florida Victorious knows exactly what it's doing. It has learned how to be a productive NIL entity for the University of Florida. So that is nothing if not a positive in the recruitment for McCray or any kid that UF is going after. But at the end of the day, I think relationships matter even more, and that should make Gator fans pretty comfortable about how this recruitment is going. We will find out in just a couple of days. Thank you guys for watching. We do not have a preview show this week because it's the bye week, but YouTube thinks you should take a moment and watch this video. So do me a favor and check it out right now.